recent concepts, not so recent also, regarding the, and ideally this talk was to be done after the patellofemoral talk, but Dragan is not here, so in the interest of the program, I'll just continue. So quadriceps malalignment is an independent factor for PFJ issue in TKA. This has now come in with I think 3 or 4 articles which have come in. So first of all, the patellofemoral kinematics is very important for any success of a knee replacement. Quadriceps muscle is the major determinant of this. And it has been seen that around 50% of patients with poor outcomes have some issue with the patellar tracking, right? And traditionally, we have been measuring the Q angle. However, the Q angle only describes the bone morphology, and it is only true with respect to the rectus, not the other muscles. So, and there are articles which says that it only measures the rectus femoris, it has poor reliability, and it ignores the other muscles. So, this came about by Tanufuji, that they did a study to find out what is the real quadriceps vector and what is the magnitude of this, and does it have any relationship to the other femoral anatomical axis, which is basically the anatomic axis, the mechanical axis, and the spherical axis. The spherical axis is something which starts from the center of the femoral head to the center of the medial femoral condyle. So this was their finding. They found that the quadriceps vector passes from the patellar center proximally, crossing the femoral neck between the femoral head and the greater trochanter, not the ASIS. And it is most closely aligned with the spherical axis, right? And it travels towards the femoral neck region, and this aligns with the spherical axis, which is basically from the center of the femoral head to the center of the circle you draw on the femoral condyle, and the angle between this is around 2.3 degree as compared to that between the anatomic and the mechanical axis. And they also found that with various ethnicities, in the Japanese population also it was the same. And we had a study from India. Dr. Malhotra provided the CT scans for this, and he was author also for this paper, and it was seen that in Indian patients also it is the same. So the quadriceps vector is closer to the femoral spherical axis, right? And this is a formula. This ideally should have been spoken after Dragon's talk, because this is the patellar trochlear angle of the implants are different, 6 degrees to now, you have kinematically aligned, components, femoral components where the trochlea is bigger. But the major thing is that the patellar prosthetic trochlear angle can be predicted by this formula, which takes into account the quadriceps line of force and the femoral mechanical angle, and you can know with what processes, with what angle you are using, where it is going to be, right? So now coming to the main topic, which is basically the malalignment as a pathology for femur. So this is an article which came by Simon Talbot. So they wanted to see that whether it's the bony morphology or there's something soft tissue also, the quadriceps tendon, which is causing malalignment. And they did a cadaveric study initially. And they did CT scans of around 110 cadaver CT scans were done, and they found 3 angles, and they wanted to determine whether it is consistent also or not, and whether it is reproducible also or not, these 3 angles. And they further on did a study in which they compared 2 groups of patients. These were clinical patients in which one group had lateral femoral patellofemoral OA, and the other group did not have any of this, just had osteoarthritis of the knee. So the most important angle that they found was the quadriceps tendon axial angle. How is this calculated? This is calculated by, you identify this in a CT scan. So you take the axial cuts, come proximally from the center of the patella, and you would have a point where that's the most proximal point of the patellar tendon. Right, so you identify the center point by drawing a circle around the tendon. So that's the center of the patellar tendon there. Then at the same axial cut, you identify the cross section, you identify the center of the femur there, and you join these 2 lines. And the third line is basically a perpendicular line from the posterior condyles, which is basically overlapped with it. And the angle in between this is known as the quadriceps tendon axial angle. And when the apex is towards the lateral side, it is a positive value. They also measured another angle, which is known as the quadriceps tendon trochlear groove distance ratio. So this basically is between the center of the quadriceps tendon and a vertical line passing they found the distal and the apex of the trochlear groove at the intercondylar notch and a straight line in between, and the distance in between this is known as the quadriceps tendon trochlear groove. And they also found another angle, that's the quadriceps tendon cornal alignment angle, which is with respect to the mechanical axis, right? But the important finding was that the QTA of the quadriceps tendon angle was around 2 degrees external with a range of 42 to 44. The wrist angles had a lot of variations. And then they found that this quadriceps tendon angle had no correlation with any of the other, bony landmarks or bony angles, whether it be trochlear groove, femoral torsion, corneal alignment. So they postulated that it's an independent soft tissue deformity, right, of the tendon. And they also, in the second study in which they compared between the patients who had lateral patellofemoral OA and did not have lateral patellofemoral OA, they found that a lateralized quadriceps tendon angle had more patients and has significant association with patellar maltracking as an independent factor, right? So they confirmed the ability that you can accurately determine the quadriceps tendon angle on CT scan. The normal angles are highly variable and not related to the bony anatomy, and this should be considered whenever you're planning, right? Then they also studied from tendon malalignment to muscle deformity. So here what they did was that, they determined the alignment of the quadriceps musculature with the tendon alignment and assessed whether there is any torsional deformity of the quadriceps along the femur, right? And they had 3 groups of patients in which one, the QTA was invalgus, or means was more lateralized. One was normal within 2 degrees of external rotation. The third was most medial. And then they found that, and they found the quadriceps muscle angle, which they calculated on a CT scan between the horizontal and a line passing between the lateral intermuscular septum and the sartorius, basically the muscle, the bulk of the muscle. And they found that, the lateralized QTA or the quadriceps tendon angle had a correlation with the external rotation of the quadriceps muscle. And again, important finding that they found was that, you don't have, they postulated and also found that the cross-sectional area of the, or the muscle mass of the vastus medialis was not less in these patients. So, so that was another, the QTA angle or the quadriceps tendon angle could be considered as a surrogate for overall quadriceps force factor. And then they did the third study, which is basically, finding its impact on total knee replacement, whether it has any impact on the issues and outcomes of it. And then they had, they wanted to find the association of the preoperative quadriceps tendon angle and the patient-reported outcome in TKA, and wanted to determine whether, the component position would have any influence on this factor, because they had already, come to a conclusion that if your tendon is lateralized, then it would result in patellar maltracking or worse PROMs. And this was a retrospective analysis in which they assessed the CT scan and they measured the QTA of these patients and also measured the alignment and other angles also. They were on 388 cases, and they found the figure was QTA of more than 14 degrees. They found that in patients who had, quadriceps tendon angle of more than 14 degrees or lateralized, and they termed it as malalignment. This was associated with a reduced patient outcome. So they had these patients in which all the PROM scores were much lesser in patients in whom had a quadriceps tendon malalignment or QTA angle of more than 14 degrees, right? And then they did a analysis of these patients in which the quadriceps tendon malalignment was there. They found that in these patients in which the femur was externally rotated by more than 2 degrees, they had a better PROM as compared to the patients in which the femur was not rotated. So that's another finding, and this is the same chart. So they found that the quadriceps tendon malalignment is a specific preoperative identifiable risk factor for patellar maltracking. And in these patients, you should externally rotate your femoral component in order to normalize your patellofemoral mechanics. And this malalignment in their series was seen in 20% of patients, so 80% of patients would not have any malalignment. So they postulated to obtain a CT scan, measure the quadriceps tendon angle. If it is less than 14 degrees, you can do whatever alignment you want to do. But if it is more than 14 degrees, even if you're doing a functional alignment, you should externally rotate your femur, right? So the implication is far than this. They also wrote in their article that, there are a lot of studies which say that kinematic and mechanical alignment do equally good. So this may be because a subset of patients in either of these groups have a quadriceps tendon malalignment, and which is influencing the result. So the next, evolution of personalized alignment would be to also look at this angle. So to conclude, the quadriceps tendon axial angle is the angle between the apex of the quadriceps tendon and the center of the femoral shaft. You can measure it. If it is more than 14 degree externally rotated, which occurs in around 20% of patients, it might be associated with patellar maltracking and linked to lateral patellofemoral OA. And in these patients, it may be a wise idea to, externally rotate your femur so as to have a better proms. So key takeaway, QTA is an independent measurable soft tissue deformity seen in around 20% of patients. More than 14 degree predicts lateral facet OA and PFJ issues. It stems from rotational quadriceps deformity. It reduces the TK outcome if it is not addressed. In this, if you externally rotate your femur, it might normalize the outcome. And 88% of patients do not have this malalignment. It is only present in 20% of these patients. But to conclude all of this, I would say this is only from one author, one group. So, it needs to be validated by more studies, independent studies, to see whether it really works or not. Thank you.